Welcome to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim, where the truth matters and progressives' feelings don't. We bring you the facts from the perspective of two average, everyday guys who will never apologize for being America first, for adhering to our great Constitution, and for saluting the flag that our brothers and sisters have fought and died for. And now, here's Dale and Jim.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 35, Two Guys, One Coup podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to Jim and I ramble on about all sorts of good stuff. We have lots of good stuff to
ramble
talk
on
about.
Intelligently, though.
Well, it's just a term, but ramble on intelligently, factually. I mean, we all know that to be true. Nobody disputes us because we have our shit together.
Not bad for two transphobic and homophobic guys.
You racist, you name it, like everybody. Yeah, not bad for those kind of fellers. Anyways, we have a lot to get through today. Bunch of good things happened over the weekend that we can talk about. Jim, did you have a good weekend? I didn't ask you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Went to a couple graduation parties and stuff. And,
yeah. Boy, you're just every weekend. It's like graduation parties.
Yes, it is.
Is it all family or is it friends?
Friends this weekend, and then
it was.
Yeah, friend, family, and then next couple ones we have coming up, family, and a couple more friends. So
it's a lot of cash you got to dole out.
No shit
for gifts.
No shit. Yep.
You're just sitting there writing checks out every weekend, aren't you? Isn't that nice?
Yep.
You know, it's very nice.
We give cash. We don't want them to have to go write cash checks, so we give them cash.
And plus it might bounce or something.
And a little bit of my blood. And now we're giving like 5 gallons of gas.
Oh my God, Jim, that is the best. That is the best one. The highest Powerball is happening in Florida this week. It's gone up to 2 gallons of gas now if you win the Powerball.
All right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do we even have to talk about gas prices again?
No, because I don't want to piss people off before we get started. So
Biden's got a plan, though.
They all have a plan.
He's going to work hard to lower them. Thanks, Joe.
That's
a good plan.
A couple episodes ago, we had the solution. We'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do. I have the plan for world hunger and world peace, and my plan is I'm going to work on it.
That's kind of what a politician says. Yep.
Problem solved. Going to work on it because I feel you. I feel the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like. Joe knows what it's like. High gas prices. He knows what it's like.
One of the politicians know what it's like because we pay for their freaking gas.
They have no idea what it's like. Any of those scumbags out there, minus a few good ones. That's all I can say.
Well, yeah, and I hate to do that because there are some good ones, but the problem is I think they're few and far between. So
the problem is for everybody in the nation is you don't hear about the good ones as much.
Mm-hmm.
They're not newsworthy. You know,
and no one's perfect. No
agreed.
One's perfect. So, but
speak for yourself. But agreed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jim,
4
is a letter.
What?
4 is a letter. So yeah,
Jim,
you're perfect. All right.
I know it's the last episode I said your name. If people were taking a shot for every time I said your name, they'd been well drunk by the first segment.
Sorry. I can't let it go.
You just.
Hey, my brother still gives me a hard time about a calculator, so there you go. So
yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. You thought Texas,
but I never said I was
California.
Perfect. I know.
You thought Texas bordered California.
No, that is not.
It's exactly how it came out, Jim.
No, I know that's how it came out, but that's not what I meant. But anyway, let's move on.
Oh, whoa.
But I never claimed to be perfect. I never claimed to be perfect.
We're talking about
claim to be perfect.
Jim, so let's move on.
Because I'm not the one that said I'm perfect.
We got a lot to talk about here. Let's just move on. Let's just go. Okay.
Get over it.
Do you think I meant to say letter 4?
Yep.
Do you? You think I meant to say letter 4?
I don't know, but it was perfect.
Folks, by the way, it was, just perfect for you.
Yeah.
But then again, Texas border in California.
There you
touchy
go.
Subject.
I never claimed to be perfect. You did.
I identify 4 as a letter. Now.
Okay.
I'm allowed.
That's true.
I am allowed.
Yep.
So guys, a couple announcements first. I think this is our last episode. We cannot post
Yay.
right away onto YouTube. Again, like we mentioned, the last 4, this one plus the previous 3. So I will go back and post them on YouTube, but this one you'll see, tomorrow on Rumble, just so you're aware. I think it's the last one. And then I'll go post the previous 4, and then we'll start again, and then we'll have a permanent ban on YouTube. So, but we'll see. I hope not.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like you and I talked about, if we're going to talk about the fair elections,
we'll just post it on Rumble.
We'll
just skip that one on YouTube. Yeah,
because
we have to.
The most fair and honest elections we've ever had. So
they have been.
Anyway,
proven.
So,
proven.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all the announcements I have to make at this moment. So, Jim, let's get started and get with your nonsense that you're going to talk about.
Let's
today.
do it. Okay. I just wanted to come up because I had an epiphany over the weekend, because you always hear about these, when you become a doctor, you take your sworn statements that you have to make and everything.
What is that called? Isn't it
Hippocratic Oath,
isn't it? Yeah.
So, and I knew that there was a journalist code. Huh? So I thought, what the hell?
I'm gonna go.
I think
I've heard this. Yeah.
So now I don't know if this is what they say when they make their announcement, but this is what it's called: a Journalistic Creed.
Thank you. I was just going to ask. That's what it's called?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a personal and professional affirmation and code of journalism ethics written by Walter Williams in 1914. The creed has been published in more than 100 languages, and a bronze plaque of the Journalist Creed hangs in the National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Well, it's got to be official.
Yeah, well, okay, because we've always wondered how some of these journalists that call themselves journalists. Now, when I read this one, I'm not going to read all of it because it's going to be boring and all that stuff, but I want to read the very last point because they're bullet pointed.
Is it the only one you're going to read?
Well, I'll read a couple more, but this one's really this one jumped out at me, okay?
Hits home. Okay.
I believe that journalism, which succeeds best and best deserves success, fears God and honors man, is stoutly independent, unmoved by pride of opinion or greed of power, constructive, tolerant but never careless, self-controlled, patient, always respectful of its readers but always unafraid, is quickly indignant and at injustice, is is unswayed by the appeal of privilege or the clamor of human brotherhood. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead real bad. Is unswayed by the appeal of privileged or the clamor of the mob. Seeks to give every man a chance. And as far as law and honest wage and recognition of human brotherhood can make it so, an equal chance. Is profoundly patriotic while sincerely promoting international goodwill and cementing world comradeship, is a journalism of humanity and for the today's world. Dale, what do you think?
None of that. Not a one, Jim.
You see why that stood out?
Not that. Is that like the final point? Is that like the ending?
That's the very last bullet point. Yep.
That's where they read through and whatever, I'm going to do this, we'll do that. And then I'm going to do all these things as a journalist because it's such an integral part of our world. None of it, Jim. Absolutely none of that.
Now, there is one that probably there's one on here that they probably go to all the time. Okay, because this is the one that, I believe that journalists should write only what he holds in his heart to be true.
Okay. So,
but did you notice all the he's and the his and all that stuff?
Oh my God.
I can't believe this hasn't been rewritten.
Very sexist. Very sexist.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, brotherhood.
I believe that clear thinking and clear statement, accuracy and fairness are fundamental to good journalism.
Do they still take this oath? I mean,
I have no idea. I believe that suppression of the news, for any consideration other than the
Oh.
welfare of society is indefensible.
Suppression of the news. Okay. Yeah, they don't do that at all.
Oh my God.
They don't do that at all.
I love it.
Wow.
I couldn't resist. I had
Yeah.
I had to
Listen,
go out.
that is about as. I mean, are they?
Those are just some.
Zero of that is happening.
It's just
Zero.
I'm sitting here. I just thought, what the hell? I didn't think I'd have this much fun with it, but I had a lot of fun reading it. I'm sitting there
It's
laughing,
fun.
and my wife's looking at me. What do you should read the Journalistic Creed. It might have been written by Acme from from the
Wile E.
Bugs Bunny.
Coyote. Jim, do you think journalists, honestly, do you think they're still? Do you think they recite that at the end of?
Oh, I don't. I think I don't know
journalism
if that's
school
the one that they cite. I don't know, but if it's on the if they hang it in the press club in Washington D.C., you got to think it's pretty important, right? It's a bronze. It's in bronze. You know, I don't know.
I bet you $1 million that you ask 99% of the journalists out there to recite any of that, and they'll be like, I don't even know what it is.
Nope.
I don't even know what it is.
Now,
matter.
you know, because you have some now in their defense, you're going to have some doctors that take the Hippocratic Oath, and the doctors have been horrible. They've been bad. They,
of course,
you know, this and that.
Course.
But
well,
not overwhelmingly,
case,
not as overwhelming as what journalism is, because that is a complete farce. And if they, and I guarantee you, their fingers are crossed behind their back while they're holding the right hand, their left hand's back, and they got their fingers crossed. Doesn't count. We didn't pinky swear. So anyway,
that's terrible.
So,
oh my God,
we'll move on from that because I just thought that was funny.
It was, because
you and I didn't have to take that because we're not journalists.
We are not.
We're just two awesome guys trying to make the world a better place.
Who I believe are more journalistic than journalists.
Actually, I think so.
Out there. So
now, in keeping with some of the themes we've been going on, real quick, I want to talk because I really like this, and I think it's we've been talking to Paige a lot. Paige Miller, by the way, wonderful person, love her to death, and she's for Moms for Liberty. Everybody knows we've been talking, but there's another one that come in that I think. In one of the comments that Paige made a comment on is and Dale, I think you replied to one of the texts she said is that we're fighting back. We have people finally fighting back. Well, this story has a Pennsylvania mothers file lawsuit to stop transgender lessons at elementary schools. I can't believe they have to have a lawsuit to keep people from doing it, but hey.
DeSantis had to file a bill.
Guys, before everybody goes all crazy on me and calls me transgender, calls Dale transgender, I just want to explain.
Transgender?
Or transphobic. Sorry, transphobic. I guess they can call us transgender too if they want to.
Let me point out real quick, though, yet another show and another mistake by Jim. Go ahead.
Anyway. I've had a lot of them, but I never said I was perfect.
I'd claim
anyway. Anyway, so they're not against transgender necessarily. They're just against our elementary school children hearing about it. Let the parents, anyway, we'll move on. 3 Pennsylvania parents filed a federal lawsuit last week alleging that their children's first grade teacher violated district policy, state law, and constitution by teaching children about gender dysphoria and transgender transitioning.
Oh boy.
Dale, how old are first graders?
Man, 6.
Yep. Maybe 5 if they go early, or 7 if they go late. But if they 5, 6, or 7. I say to them, this man's going to become a woman. When's recess? When's lunch? They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't know. They can't spell. They can't read. They can't do math. But by God, they know what a transgender is. Give our kids a break. Let up. Stop being hypocrites. For you teachers out there that think this is right, I support teachers 120% for you to teach and have parent involvement while you teach to help the kids learn and all that stuff. but don't ask for parent involvement when your kids are failing and blaming the parents for not getting involved, because now the parents are getting involved. Now you don't want it.
Mhm.
So, but the suit filed by mothers Carmilla Tatel, Stacy Dunn, and Gretchen Melton against the Mount Lebanon School District seeks a court order to stop the gender-related instruction at Jefferson Elementary School in Slugtown, Pittsburgh.
So I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Slug. There's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the worst cities on
there's
the
a
planet.
Yeah, for sure.
Or else provide parents the option to opt their children out of it. There's the key point right there.
Mhm. Yep.
Allow the parent to opt the kids out. First of all, this shouldn't be happening in elementary school. Don't even let the parent opt out. Middle school and high school, if you want to start something like that, okay, maybe we will. But remember, informed consent is a lot different than consent.
Correct.
Like Paige explained it so well in her first interview.
Correct.
That informed consent is detailing what you're consenting your child to do. If you get at the beginning of school, you're going in, you're signing into school, and you fill out the sheet of paper that says my consent for my kids to go on these field trips. Don't sign it.
Nope.
Until you know what they're doing. And so Paige put that very, very eloquently. Now, it also seeks a jury trial in federal court to decide compensating and punitive financial damages. In addition to the district, the suit names the district's superintendent and school board, as well as first grade teacher Megan Williams. It also names other school officials and an elementary school principal. The mothers allege Williams did not respect their parental rights with her direct classroom instruction on gender dysphoria and the use of books on the subject. So, again, the lawsuit points out the unique perspectives and views that Williams might have as the mother of a transgender child who is the same age as her students.
What?
But noted that such a fact does not give her the right to impose those views on a captive audience of 6 and 7-year-old children. Now, Dale, did you hear what I read?
I heard.
The teacher, the first grade teacher, has a transgender child at 6 or 7.
7.
Pennsylvania, take that child out of that house right now. Parents, get your kids out of that class right now. There is no way a 6 or 7-year-old child, I want to be a boy.
There's no way. There's no way.
No way.
There's no scientific proof that that is even a fact. There is zero evidence that they know that they want to be a different gender. They want to be a different gender because somebody's telling them they want to be a different gender. That's all.
Yep.
You know?
Well,
if I told that same person they want to be a fireman since the time they were born, by the time they're 6, they're like, I want to be a fireman. That's what they'll know.
This is another good one. Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and read the whole thing. It'll make sense. The lawsuit also claims that this district violated its own policies by not listing gender dysphoria and transgender transitioning as part of the curriculum online, and also alleges that parents were not given the opportunity to excuse their child from such instructions if it does not conform with how they like to broach such subjects. It also noted how the district previously allowed parents such leeway when it approached sensitive topics such as the Holocaust, slavery, the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and Black Lives Matter. So for you people in San Francisco, that meant that when these teachers talked about the Holocaust, talked about Black Lives Matter, talked about terrorists from 9/11 terrorist attacks, slavery, the parent were given an option to let their child not go through it.
Wow.
But they were never given this chance for it. So again, I can't stress this enough. Get that kid out of that woman's house right now and get those kids out of that class. I cannot stress this. Folks, if you are listening, anybody in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, get away from Ben Roethlisberger's home and and head to get these kids
Speaking
out of there.
Predators.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did you hear that? The joke that he reached out to Pickett.
No.
So if you need any dating tips, let me know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hate the Steelers. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I know you've got some other stuff to talk about on that, but I'll kind of end that with what that was.
Okay.
But folks, please tell me people out there don't think that's okay. Please,
they can't agree with.
Please,
they cannot potentially agree.
And if you do agree with that, turn us off.
You need seek help.
Turn us off. We don't want you listening to it. And just self-check into prison. This is horrible.
Psych ward
this is somewhere. Predatory shit if I've ever seen it.
It is
predatory. Oh my God. Anyway, Dale, let's see what you've got.
All right, let's move on. Next segment, Jimmy. Well, kind of staying in the same line of fire that you were in. Let's continue with all this. I mean, in honor of Pride Month, let's talk more about drag.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. They want us to.
That's what we're doing. That's what they want to do. That's Pride Month. This headline kind of struck a chord with me. New York City schools are spending over $200,000 on drag queen shows for children.
Why not?
Does that surprise anybody? No, it's New York City. I get it. It's probably not news, but come on, folks. Drag Story Hour, New York City has rated nearly a...
It's a story hour?
Oh, it's a story hour.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
You'll hear her. Stay tuned. This just in. Drag Story Hour, New York City, has raked in nearly $250,000 from the city's taxpayers to impose gender-bending ideology and body dysmorphia on small children.
So
rough term. What'd you say?
So wrong term.
What?
Bending.
Why? Gender bending? Gender bending ideology. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Why not?
Let's see here. The non-profit.
I love nonprofits. Love them.
I'm sure these drag queens aren't making a dime. The nonprofit deploys cross-dressing men, Jim, so that's for you, to perform for children as young as 3 years old at public schools, libraries, and street festivals without parental consent.
Without
folks.
Parental
consent. In May, the group last month, the group previously known as Drag Queen Story Hour New York City. It's quite the title. Earned $46,000 from city contracts for appearances at venues where children are the prime audience and received a total of $207,000 in taxpayer cash since 2008 or 2018. Now, I know that seems like, well, they're not getting a lot of money. They're funding it. It doesn't matter what money they're.
No.
Are you, Jim? Are you getting an extra $250,000 since 2018 for anything you're doing?
Just wait.
No.
Just wait. I've got the whole month of June yet.
Jimmy D's.
We're going to start the
two guys story hour.
Two guys, one coup drag queen story hour. Not for profit.
Not for profit.
And we're going to go out and buy $1 million homes.
That's right. Not for profit, folks. That's what we're going to do. Listen to this. A large portion of the funding for drag queen child abuse was allocated by city council members who jammed pork for pet projects in their budget during the start of COVID-19.
You use such the wrong term.
I love it. I love this article. Who the hell wrote this? I'll have to give him credit. I don't know. Well, this came from our good friends at the Gateway Pundit, so you know it was written well.
Oh, my God.
The tally includes $50,000 from New York State through its Council on the Arts.
Well, okay.
Drag queens and art.
Must be.
I mean, you could probably go and put your wife's dress on right now, and it's art, Jim. It's art.
What makes you think I'm not wearing the skirt?
At least the panties. Along with $157,000 from the city's Department of Education.
That's important. 3 years old, folks. as young
Even-
as 3.
Even the Department of Transportation has given money. Why
Really?
would the Department?
Well, they have to get there somehow.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to pick them up if they're hitchhiking? I agree. Yeah, maybe somebody. Most of the money was allocated by city council members for the discretionary budgets, who set aside $80,000 a year for groups in the current fiscal year, more than tripling the 25. Yes, discretionary, more than the tripling the $25,000 earmarked in 2020 on its website.
It has
Drag
a website.
Story. Oh, it does. Drag Story Hour boasts about performing for students at dozens of schools across the city and is asking for donations to continue to access your children by bringing free, in quote, by bringing free and low-cost Drag Story Hour programs to New York City public schools. So far in 2022, they've produced 49 Drag Story Hour programs for 34 individual public schools. Folks, again. But here's a quote from one of the Queenies. But we need your support to continue providing quality, free, and low-cost programs for public schools. It costs us $600 to produce each program, but we only charge public schools $300. It sounds to me like they got a terrible business plan.
Well, it's a not-for-profit. They get money from us.
Oh, there you have it. And we offer a limited number of free programs for schools that can't afford the fee. So good. So they're preying on low-income areas.
Well, that's what happened
as well.
Well, you know what, though? You and I talked about this with Indiana. The areas that are doing a lot of this stuff is not poor in Indiana.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Very high.
Affluential, let's just say. But, Jim, that kind of thing here leads to this kind of thing.
Uh-oh.
I credit Paige Miller for this.
Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah, folks, listen to this.
Head of Drag Queen Story Hour organization.
The one we just talked about.
Arrested for child porn. Shocking, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Repeat that one more time because I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Head of Drag Queen Story Hour organization, who we just talked about in New York City, that's the people putting on this, arrested for child porn.
But folks, the Moms for Liberty are domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists. Let me read the headline. Brett. Jim, I'm choked up. Brett Blome, B-L-O-M-M-E. I wanted to say Brett Blomey.
I was waiting.
I tried to be. Jim, I took a journalistic creed to be honest. There's no way I cannot call this guy Blomey. Brett Blomey. B-L-O-M-M-E. How would you say it, Jim?
I'm sorry.
That's like Haywood. Haywood, you blow me.
I did swallow well. So
you did. A former head, no pun intended, of the, listen to this, of the Cream City LGBTQ plus Foundation, which runs a drag queen story hour program, was arrested on charges of possession of child pornography. I continue. Blomey, who's 38, was taken into custody following an investigation into multiple uploads of child pornography. Now, this is serious. I mean, I know we're joking, but this is the worst of the worst to me. Uploads of child pornography through a Kick messaging application account in October, November of 2020. Just got caught, according to a statement. A 44-page search warrant filed this past Friday, by a Division of Criminal Investigation special agent said investigators found Blomey using the name. I don't know if I could. Dom Master BB. DOMMASTERBB. Dom Master BB. Dom Master B must have already been taken.
So I had the other B.
Tom Master BB uploaded 27 videos and images containing child pornography. 2 of the files were uploaded at a Milwaukee County government building, the search warrant said. I wonder which government building that was. Could be.
Government building?
Building. Yes, uploaded there.
Okay.
Blomey formerly served as the president of the Cream City Foundation I don't know Cream City. I don't know where that's at. From 2017 to 2020, which describes itself as mobilizing philanthropic resources by harnessing the pride, passion, and commitment of the L people. The foundation also runs a drag queen story hour program, which we've just recently talked about, an event that captures the imagination and play of the gender fluidity of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and unabashedly queer role models. I think, Jim, I think a couple of shows ago I had a nickname for you. I think unabashedly queer role model is what I should call you from now on. Sounds better. Who would want to be called that?
I'm speechless at this point.
This is sickening. In spaces like this, kids are able to see people who defy rigid gender restrictions and imagine a world where people can present as they wish, where they dress up in real, a description adds. That's the end of that story on that one. Jim, I don't know what you think about all this drag queen crap going on in the schools, but I can imagine. I think you and I know each other. There are people out there that do child porn in every profession.
Yep.
I totally, there's been teachers that do it. There have been educators, there have been police, there have been fire, there have been doctors, there have been sales guys, there have been, you name it, professional sports people. It happens. It's sick. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It's sick and disgusting.
But there has got to be a way where you could almost see it coming and keep it out of our schools. It's just drag queen stuff. Why would you want to introduce that? The potential for any of that.
I was just going to say, do you think and this is kind of what you and I initially were talking about. I think this is opening up a new platform for pedophiles to get a hold of kids.
Oh, I do too.
And
which
is another reason why we ask this shit to not be taught to children. I'm not saying alone. Be who you want to be. Well, don't be a pedophile. Go to prison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But if you want to be a transgender, an honest transgender person, fine. Why do you have to teach our children? Why? What is the point? What are you trying? Oh, you're not sitting there saying that. Oh, we're showing that that you can be respectful to everybody, whoever they are, no matter what. No, that's not. That's not what we're doing here. Let our kids be kids, please. Don't stop this bullcrap. But what we've done now is opened up a platform for pedophiles to say, I know how I'm going to get a hold of some kids.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And the schools are. You think the schools are going to vet? I don't think so.
Apparently not.
I don't think they're going to vet anything.
Apparently that's not happening. Yeah.
But just
Jim, let me get through this. Let me get through this last thing real quick because it's just I thought it was interesting. Not school related, but are you familiar with the food delivery service called Postmates?
No.
Okay, it's kind of like DoorDash. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Okay, but it's called Postmates. Pretty popular around the country. In a shocking display of, in quote, pride, the startup food delivery service Postmates decided to focus its attention on the act of anal sex as a way to celebrate June's Pride Month. I mean, nothing says pride like food delivery. Nothing says anal sex like food delivery. I don't know.
What are they delivering, by the way?
Well, I don't know. Probably donuts and sausage. I don't know. The ad features fruits and vegetables clothed in what one may consider to be stereotypical attire for gay men going to a pride parade.
I'm sorry, this is a totally unprofessional podcast right now.
I love it. I love it. It's the ad. This is Postmates ad. This isn't we report, you decide.
But I thought they don't like to be called fruits. Oh, wait a minute. You were talking about the actual fruit. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Jim, we're trying to make a name for ourselves, damn it. Oh, Jim, come on. Yeah, the ad features actual fruits, apples, oranges,
Thank you.
tangerines, and vegetables. Not Joe Biden, but
Yeah,
vegetables
yeah.
like cucumbers and
Yep.
all. Why I said cucumbers, I don't know.
I don't know.
But first one that came to mind on this story. So the ad, I'm going to go and get on with this. The ad features fruits and vegetables clothed in what one may consider to be stereotypical attire for gay men going to a pride parade. I guess they're stereotypical attire. Well, here's what the fruits and vegetables in the ad were dressed up as. It appears to be leather clag harness and jock straps adorning the foods themselves. So the foods are dressed up in leather and jock straps. Pretty much what's in your closet. The ad discusses which foods are best to consume for healthy digestion to aid in the act of hygienic bottoming. Now, we went through this last week. You just learned, thanks to Burger King, what top and bottom was, right? Mm-hmm. So, Jim, let's review and see if you remember. What is bottoming?
I'm not going to talk about it.
Jim, what is bottoming?
You fill us in. What is bottoming?
Hey, that's funny. The ad utilizes the slang term for anal sex, common to gay vernacular. That's the proper way of saying what bottoming is. The ad was developed in a strategic partnership with Dr. Evan Goldstein, a renowned New York physician specializing in gay men's sexual health, and your primary care physician, I think. The ad is a crass and
my wife is going to get mad at you again.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Jim. I can't help it. He pissed me off early in the show, guys, when he started talking about how unperfect I am. It made me mad. I was feeling perfect today, and he brought me down. Okay. And now I'm just going to razz him also. The ad is a crass and inappropriate attempt at celebrating June's Pride Month. It is not an ad campaign that represents the inclusion of the L people community, as it focuses strictly only on gay men, which excludes pretty much every other letter in the alphabet to them. What's more disturbing is that the ad focuses on a sexual act rather than the sexual identity of the persons for whom it was intended. It is proof of the over-sexualized nature of culture today. I think that's absolutely true. I am almost done. One user replied, "Well, I was thinking about ordering some food, but I suddenly lost my appetite for some reason.
I don't know how. I don't know."
Another said, "What the F did I just watch?" There were calls to delete the app and no longer use the food delivery service, now owned by the ride-sharing company Uber. Many users pointed out the lack of representation and the reminder of the L people community. Postmates has continued to stand by its ad, replying to users on Twitter saying, in quote, "We're tired of heterosexual sex being the main focus of sexual education. Homosexual sex, specifically bottoming, is all too often omitted and stigmatized. Not this year. Happy Pride." End of quote. What, Jim, is going on in the world? Why does that have to be associated with food delivery and shoving the damn pride crap down our throat? That's what I'm talking about. I think it's companies and corporations that are really pushing this whole Pride Month thing. I think most of the gay community is probably like, what are y'all doing? Like who's going to dress up fruits and vegetables and jock straps and think that's a good idea? Maybe you, but I don't know.
Wokeism. Look at the stocks for Disney. Just look at it.
God. Just look at it.
This is what happens when you do this. I mean,
everything woke turns to shit. So says Donald J. Trump.
The whole point we're talking about here is elementary schools, children, and even to the point because we didn't learn health, until I didn't learn anything about that type until my father obviously had the talk, but health class, 9th grade.
Yeah.
is when I learned the birds and the bees.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that, I also learned about homosexuality. They taught homosexuality. Now, they didn't explain what they did, but
They did? I don't remember.
yeah, but we
Did
could
they?
figure it out what they did, right?
Oh.
I mean, you got to stick it somewhere. But so, God, that was bad.
You see why today I'm on your case.
But anyway,
stick it somewhere.
But we were taught that in ninth grade.
Yeah.
Which I think is a perfect age because you're just coming into your, you're getting
puberty thing, right?
And,
I mean, you kind of reach the whole.
And if you want to add homosexuality to that, fine. But what they don't do during the health class that I do not recall is they didn't necessarily show me what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what this group is pushing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at some of the books that they're using, the pornographic books they're sending to our children, this is what we're talking about, people.
Oh, it's terrible. You can even buy them on Amazon. It's terrible.
This is crazy.
It's terrible. And nowadays, I'll tell you what, if this woke crap, if this whole pushing this crap happened when you and I were back in school, the Marlboro man would be an assless chaps and wearing anal beads or something. I mean, that's the equivalent to all of this. I mean, who is going to make an ad?
And the Village People would be Beatles.
Yeah. They'd be.
Anyway, I do like the Village People. So
probably
I like some of their songs.
Jim, we know the song, the only song.
Yeah, but you know how to do the YMCA.
Jim, we know.
Macho
We've
Man's
all been to
pretty
weddings.
good. In the Navy.
Oh, you know him. Well, Jim, apparently this Pride Month is right up your alley. I mean, this is screaming you. This is screaming you.
Anyway.
Guys, before we move on, we want a clear reminder that August is heterosexual Pride.
We're going to talk about it again at the end of the show.
We will. We're going to keep talking about it. But Jim, let's move on.
And we're not going to let those heterophobic people attack us anymore. We're not letting it happen.
We are not. We are not. And everybody is welcome. And the L people, they're
come on board
to support us. Required. Jim, let's move on to our next segment. What do you think?
Okay. We are going to now move into the wonderful bipartisan discussion on gun control. Now, understand
this is great. This is great.
Gun control, folks, no. Mm-hmm. When you hear gun control, that's not a good thing. So anyway, but I'm going to talk first about this story real quick. Alabama school resource officer shoots and kills suspicious person outside elementary school. Alabama school resource officer.
Correct. Gadsden, Alabama.
A man described by police as suspicious has been shot and killed by the school resource officer after attempting to enter an Alabama elementary school Thursday morning. The gunfire erupted outside of Walnut Park Elementary in Gladson around 9:30 a.m. after the individual showed up and attempted to gain entry into vehicles and buildings. Etowah County Sheriff Jonathan Horton told WIAT. So, as we talk about this, how many times do we have to say that maybe instead of banning guns from 99.9% of responsible gun owners, that maybe we should safety of the schools? Okay.
Correct.
So what I want to go into is this bill that's out there. Now, we don't know what's in it yet because they just released it. They just kind of talked about it. But I need everybody to understand, because Dale talked about this before. I don't know if he talked about it on the podcast, but he and I have talked about it in between.
I think I brought it up. Maybe not, though.
When you hear the term mental capacity,
correct,
to own a gun, and I'm just going to pretty much talk about this in general, the mental capacity. When you hear that, who's deciding it? What exactly do you consider mental capacity? And the reason I say that, our Attorney General described the wonderful group of Moms for Liberty as what, Dale?
domestic terrorists.
Right. So you and I support them. They do a background check, find out Dale and Jim. They do a podcast called Two Guys, One Coup. Somebody looks at that and says, oh my God, they're not mentally able to get a gun. What I'm saying is, guys, people who think like us, conservatives, are going to be considered a danger and shouldn't be allowed to, because the left,
are the majority,
the left doesn't buy them anyway.
Gun ownership.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
So the NRA is, obviously they're getting involved here because is gun control?
They need to.
Is gun control the right way? I mean, is it? Okay. So now, again, the part of this bill that was mentioned in there is the being of a certain age before you can buy an AR. Now, so far, I've seen no banning in this bipartisan bill. There was no mention of banning anything, so that is good. Not that it has already been banned, right? You can't have fully auto, So but so far in this bill, but that mental capacity thing bugs me.
Which is their way of saying, which is the red flag law.
Exactly.
Jim, in case people don't want to equate it, it's the same thing. It's global warming and climate change. Yeah. It's the same thing to them.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And as you and I have said this since day one, folks, when you hear bipartisan today, when it's a bipartisan bill, it is left leaning. So
every time.
Now, though I am very happy that there was no discussion of ban, but folks, pay attention to that mental illness thing. Just pay.
It's how they're going to get around the ban part of it.
Yep, because they don't go into detail. And again, the bill's just coming through. It's got to go through and all that stuff. And
we'll get more on it when it comes out.
If you read who's all the senators that are involved in this, it is equal on either side. I mean, there's a good number of Republican senators, a good number of Democrat senators. So that's
the classic case of bipartisan. But Jim, before you move on, I don't know if you're going to talk more about it, but it's when you talk about the red flag law, just like you had mentioned, are we going to be considered that because they don't agree with our speak? Are we considered mentally unstable? On top of that, who's going to determine that, right? Who's going to determine whether a person's mentally unstable or not?
Now, if it's
is the government going to do that?
Well, like you and I talked about, if you go into someone's past, okay, like you got to do background check, and you find out this person is seeing seeing a counselor for mental issues, and you go back and you find out what those mental issues are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
If that's what this is, but if you've got a mental physician reading,
that's not what this is.
Your Facebook post, my Facebook post, other Facebook post, and saying they shouldn't own a gun. That's what worries me, and that's what I think this is doing. That's
correct.
Because you said it very well, Dale. Instead of banning, this is how they're going to ban it.
It's how they're going to ban it.
So
it's not going to be called banning. It's going to be under the guise of this law.
Yeah. And on top of this, I just want to add one more thing. You remember when President Biden got on the air? Because whenever he gets on the air, we all just feel so much better. When he got on and said he does not agree with defund the police. Remember when he said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then they started twisting it, saying this was a Republican thing, as if we were stupid. Yeah. But go ahead.
And which is actually insane. Okay.
Insane.
So Biden's White House hosted several defund the police activists over the past year. The visitor logs show. Now, visitor logs, what are those? You have to actually sign in if you're walking into the White House. Now, I don't think the wonderful, esteemed President Obama has ever signed into the visitor log because he sneaks in the back and then passes all this shit that's going on right now. And
that's right.
So we want to blame Biden for it, but it's Obama didn't. It's anyway, probably the third worst president in the history.
Yep, correct.
So,
at least,
and this includes the two presidents that were actually impeached fairly. So fairly, did you see what I caught that?
Fairly. I say
all right.
Fairly.
Despite maintaining public distance from the defunded police movement, President Biden's administration has quietly maintained relationships with some of the driving forces behind the left movement. The White House logs reviewed by Fox Digital News. This was a Fox story.
Mm-hmm.
The one person I want to talk about in particular is Color of Change. And Rashad Robinson is the president of this left-wing radical group, Color of Change, visited the White House last summer for what appeared to be a meeting with Cedric Richmond, a top Biden advisor who recently departed as the director of public engagement. Color of Change has been among the most active groups advocating to defund the police. In 2021, they were the forefront of the unsuccessful push to dismantle and replace the Minnesota Police Department, an effort that was fueled by $500,000 from George Soros.
Jesus God.
We know the policing doesn't keep us safe. Communities do, reads the Color of Change petition calling on supporters to demand their local officials start the defunding the police process. Policing does not lead to thriving communities. Investment does. You need to protect that investment. But anyway,
if you think,
we must
common sense.
begin to envision a society that focuses on all of us as we begin by divesting from and dismantling the systems that unjustly harm Black people. Now, here's why I have an issue with this clown. Okay.
I've never even heard of this group till just now, Jim.
Robinson also celebrated the birthday of convicted cop killer Assata Shakur by calling for progressive groups to get bolder and louder in their demands for police abolition and their plans for revolution.
And this guy met with.
And we are having January 6th meetings.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump said you have a right to go protest. That's it.
Peacefully.
Never said anything about rioting. This Shakur, by the way, is a hero among anti-police activist groups, is a former Black Libertarian Army leader who was the mastermind behind several armed robberies in Connecticut and New York. In 1981, woman. I'm going to get to that in a minute because I thought it was a guy too until in 1981, the Brinks robbery result. See, how bad is that?
Yeah.
That's sexist. We're both sexist. That's terrible.
Assumed a guy, man.
In 1981, the Brinks robbery resulted in the slaying of an armed guard and 2 police officers. Shakur was convicted for the 1973 murder of New Jersey State Trooper Werner Forster, but later
whoa. Oh, go on. Sorry.
But later escaped prison and was granted asylum in Cuba by the late Fidel Castro. Shakur,
another good guy.
Here's where it comes in. Shakur, whose married name is Joanne Cheesemard, I think that's Chesimard, Chesimard, is on the FBI's most wanted terror list and carries a $1 million reward for information that could lead to her apprehension. This guy celebrated her birthday.
Oh my God.
And on the FBI's most wanted list. And
and met with
our president.
Bumbling idiot Joe.
So anyway, there's other people that he met with, but that guy really stuck out to me because he's evil. Okay. And not because he's Black folks, he's evil because he's using the Black people to dismantle a police force that right now, don't you think we kind of need it? And if you don't believe us, look at the cities that defunded their police. See what's going on. Anyway,
it's not even. It's just shocking. It's just shocking to me that those meetings aren't. Goes back to the freaking journalists again, Jim. I mean, it's just they don't do their jobs. There's no reason a sitting president should meet with somebody like that.
Maybe I was misunderstood. I didn't mean that people should follow the creed. I mean, what's an oath anyway?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood your whole first segment. I thought journalists might want to move on with
apparently not. But anyway,
that's crazy.
I'm done with that.
Yeah,
but
that's all right.
Support the police. Yes, there are some issues where they don't always do the right thing. I get it. I know it. But for the most part, they're right there
to save our
Uvalde
lives
school
protect.
shooting.
Yes.
Excluded. Okay, that's not how they all are. But just support the police. Let's work together. Maybe
Yeah.
improve. Maybe work to improve our own communities instead of
Mhm.
making them worse. Because this guy's
Yeah.
not helping the community. He talks about community
Exactly.
investment. Well, if you don't
Yeah,
have policing,
exactly.
what takes
Mhm.
over? Crime.
No, crime.
How are you going to get an
Every time.
investment? Anyway,
Every time. Every
It
time.
is.
Every time. Jim, I guess we can move on to our last
Yep.
segment of the day, right? What do you think? Let's do it. All right, folks. Jim talked about the gun thing. There were, I guess, 10, just real briefly, 10 Republicans that
Yep.
were part of that. I'm not going to read their names. You can go look them up, but some of them that
some of us didn't surprise. You know,
Lindsey Graham is on that
Mitt
list.
Romney.
Mitt Romney's on that list. Rob Portman of Ohio doesn't surprise me at all. Susan Collins of Maine, of course.
She's on enough.
Yeah. John Cornyn, a little bit surprised me.
There's
But-
a couple on there.
Well, I think John Cornyn he was kind of one of the backers. He started it with somebody else, and I think they're writing it that way so they don't, so there isn't a ban. But you just wait and see, folks. But anyways, let's get on to some of what. Let's get some more Biden news. Headline: Biden's base of support is cracking. I think we all know that his numbers have been just dog
The
shit,
Views support
without
him.
a doubt about it.
The
Huh?
Views still support him.
Speaking
The
of
10
viewership
people,
going
the
down,
10
and
people that watch
the
it.
10 people that watch, 10 people that watch them hogs, and that's not a sexist thing. I just think they're hogs. There seems to be no bottom to President. Speaking of bottoms again, boy, there's a lot of bottoms. Seems to be no bottom for President Biden's poll numbers, with even his base now crumbling under him. A new Quinnipiac poll, very secure poll, generally
Usually
very
pretty good.
reliable. Them and Rasmussen are probably two of the more,
And
I'd say,
MSNBC.
credible. Yeah, it's a third. Poll found that he's now losing his most loyal constituency, Black voters. Biden's approval with them has dropped 14 points since April and is now at 49%, below the majority level for the first time ever.
And I'm
49%. Go on.
And I'm only going to question because I think you made another error. Because remember what Joe Biden said. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Oh, that's true. I might have. This could be.
So these
right.
obviously aren't black people. So
these are.
I'm sorry.
I
digress.
It says black voters, but let's be honest, they're not. Well, so here we go. With whites, his approval is down to 32%. With 60% disapproving. That's lower than I think Obama's numbers were with whites.
I'm going to be honest with you.
And so when they claim, go on.
I still don't think they're that. I think they're lower.
I still think they're lower. I do too. With whites, blacks, Hispanics, aliens, it doesn't matter. He is getting no support. And worst of all is his approval rating with Hispanics. What do you think his approval rating with Hispanics?
Well, let's see. What was it?
Whites was
40?
32.
It was like 40 before when we first talked about this. Is it like 32, 33?
24%.
Oh my God. That is huge. Just add the African Americans and the Hispanic up. Add that together.
Oh my God.
And I guarantee you he wins by a landslide.
Oh, he wins absolutely by a landslide. 81 million.
Because monkeypox is coming.
Oh, that's right. Monkeypox. And they want you to wear a mask for it. The CDC came out and said it.
I know.
Now they took it back. Why? Because masks, it doesn't travel that way.
I think we've proven it.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think we've proven it. I think we've proven that it doesn't. And monkeypox, for instance, switching gears, cases have happened every year in this nation.
I know.
Monkeypox. It just happens.
So is COVID.
That's all. Yeah.
I mean, you look on the back of Lysol. COVID is one of those that it kills.
COVID's on there.
Anyway, but we digress.
Not COVID-19. Anyway, so I just thought that was very interesting, some of those numbers. And when it comes from a poll like that, Quinnipiac, you pretty much can chalk it up to almost, it being pretty accurate,
Yeah.
I would say.
Guys, I'm telling you, that is a scary number.
That's
for
scary
a Democrat
number.
candidate when those two are his
to be
biggest
under
strength.
50% with black voters just alone. Be under
Hispanic,
50% it's unheard of, and then Hispanic 24%.
So I think what we're doing is I hope the legal Hispanic voters are finally realizing that this party cares more about illegals than they do than the people who got here legally, who actually did it the right way.
I think that's exactly
of this
what I think
percentage, guys. Of this percentage of the Hispanic could be those individuals that were given citizenship by Biden. I mean, it very easily could have been given that, and now African American votes. I mean, that has always been the best group for Democrats, and I think they're finally starting to realize you guys do nothing for us, which we've been touting this for day one. So maybe the Candace Owens of the world, maybe the Ben Carsons, maybe the Tim Scotts,
maybe the Jim and Dales,
maybe they're finally starting to listen to them by saying, "Look, guys, they're not helping you." Because every year they sit there and tell you they're going to help you. They're going to help you. Well, they're going to help you by giving you money. But how long does that last? And
exactly. Well, you can see it.
Your education isn't improving, and we need to do something. And giving money and all this stuff is not the answer. Stop listening to the Democrats. Start working hard, all of us, and let's just get back to work. And I think
Jim
turns everything around.
Yeah, I agree. Can I finish?
Can
I finish our day with this story? Again, I mean, I think our best reporter, best eyes and ears on the streets is Paige Miller from Moms for Liberty. We get a lot of information from her.
We just got
and it's
something earlier today too.
Yeah, we did. One. I didn't. Yeah, another one that. Yeah, keep them coming. That's exactly what we want. This has to do with Hamilton County, which I think is Hamilton County, Indiana, obviously, that they have a policy in place for what they call microaggressions. Okay. So if I'm reporting this right, Jim, and if I'm not, let me know. But in brief, and what I've read about it, the definition in the policy, we've got copies of the actual policy itself. Microaggressions can be defined as everyday, subtle, intentional, or unintentional interactions or behaviors that communicate some sort of bias toward historically marginalized groups. There's more, but
unintentional.
Yes, it's unintentional. So what I want to get to, honestly, to me is how the examples they give in the policy of what these microaggressions are, and they break them down into categories. This one is examples of racial microaggressions. So, for instance, Jim, you say to somebody, "You speak good English." That what you're really saying is, "You aren't American." Okay.
I know. I read it. It's in there.
You read it. Jim, if you say you are so articulate, you know what you're really saying? It's unusual for someone of your race to be intelligent.
Wow, my wife should be really mad at me. I called my wife a black person, obviously. I'm sorry. Because I said she's articulate all the time.
All the time. Jim, let's I'll give you a couple more and then I'll move on to some others because I think they're really interesting. If you say to somebody, in quote, "When I look at you, I don't see color." What you're really saying, Jim, is that you deny a person of colors, racial, ethnic experiences. So now we have to see color.
Okay. But I want to take a quick time out. Yeah. How many times these white apologists that we talk about, how many times have they used that term? I don't see color.
Every person on earth sees color. That doesn't mean you're racist.
No, not at all.
It's just I can tell.
It does now.
I'm smart enough to know. I'm just smart enough to know when I see a black, an Asian, Latino, I just know I can see them.
So basically, all you can say to them, "How are you doing?" and then move on.
I'm not even sure that might be in here. Hold on, Jim. If a store owner, say you're a store owner, follows a customer of color around the store, You know what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely 100% going to steal
Yep.
something. I have been followed around stores
Me
before.
too. Of course,
I'm
it
not
didn't
a
help that I
person of
have
color.
cantaloupes in my shirt, but you know, hey. That's not true. I never stole in my life, so we're okay.
That was for Drag Queen Story Hour. Jim, if you say this, my best friend is black. As a woman, I know what you go through as person of color. So one of those two things. My best friend is black. If you say that, or you say as a woman, which you would say, I know what you go through as a person. What you're saying is I'm immune because I have friends of color. So, and it also says your racial oppression is not different than my gender oppression. So I can't be racist. That's what you're saying.
What man in their right mind has ever told a woman, I know what you're going through? There has not, and if there was one, he's an idiot.
Did they live through it to talk about it? Jim, those were the examples of the racial ones. I have some, if you don't mind. I know we're running a little
No,
behind,
it's okay.
but
We're good.
Examples of gender. No,
That's what I was hoping.
Remember,
I wanted you to get to that.
Remember, folks. Oh, I've got.
Yeah.
This is a policy in the Hamilton County schools on what microaggressions
just outside
are.
of Indianapolis.
Just outside of Indianapolis, and Paige Miller, our good friend. Okay, gender microaggressions. Jim, in a class, an instructor tends to call on male students more frequently than female ones. What is that saying? What does that actually say?
Men are historically smarter than women.
The contributions of female students are less worthy than the contributions of male. So if I was in a sex ed class and I'll say, folks, what is a penis, or what is men might tend to be like, oh, I think I know because I have one. Oh, that's probably wrong. I guess women have penises. But anyways, microaggressions. Here's another one. Use of the pronoun he or the term guys to refer to all people. So what that means is it's unusual for someone of your race to be intelligent. Now, this is an example of gender microaggressions. Use the pronoun he or term guys equates to it's unusual for someone of your race. This is in their policy. If you say, Jim, you're a girl, you don't have to be good at math or science. I mean, yes, that might be a little sexist, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah.
What that means is women are less capable in math and science. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I don't think most people are going to say, oh, you're a girl, you don't have to be good at math or science. I think that's stupid.
In defense, I know a lot of women that are very good at math and science. I know a lot of women that aren't, but guess what? I know a lot of guys that aren't.
That are not good at math or science.
So I think that was a bad one. That's
a bad one. So here, if you say that men and women have equal opportunities for achievement, if you say that, what you really mean is the playing field is even. So if women cannot make it, the problem is with them.
Who is it with?
Does it with them, with the women, with them own selves? If they don't now, does that kind of make sense? That one? Well, and I mean that by this. Why is it a microaggression to even say men and women have equal opportunities for achievement?
Because they do.
That's what our nation is based on. Because they do. But you're not allowed to say.
You're not.
You're saying that. You're saying that. Yes. And so if you're saying that and they don't make it, if women don't make it, it's because they're women. That's what that means. Where does that come from, Jim? Jim, I've got one more real quick. Okay. And I can't get to all of them, but this is examples of sexual orientation microaggression. So we had gender, we had race, now sexual orientation. This is the one you really want. To say that's so gay or no homo, it means being gay or trans is abnormal. Being gay or trans is wrong. You know, people say, man, Jim, No homo, bro, but I love that shirt.
Yeah.
You know, which means like I'm not.
You call me homo.
That
all
means
the
that
time.
you. Here's another
I'm
one.
Telling.
Here's another one. You should act more masculine or feminine. All right. Or if you ask the question, do you have a wife or husband? This is what it means. I am expecting you to be heterosexual or straight because that is normal. So, what? I mean, there are more heterosexuals on this planet than there are homosexual, trans,
Don't
whatever.
you think this is going to pretty much make you can only talk to white people talk to white people, black people talk to black people? Because it pretty much tells me that I can't have a conversation with anybody that is my color or my sexual orientation.
That's what I'm saying. You're missing it. It's not just white talking to white or black talking to black. It's if a black person talks to a black female and says, "Are you married?"
Yeah.
That they are automatically wrong for assuming that person because it's normal. You're not a typical gay guy if you say that. Or my friend is a lesbian. Do you know her?
Yeah, okay, that they don't know everybody.
Here's what the message means. All gay, transgender, queer people are the same and having the same experiences. I mean, it'd be like asking anybody.
I don't know if I've
Oh, geez.
I know I've seen movies, sitcoms that had that, but it was a joke.
It was a joke.
I have got a gay friend. Do you know him?
Do you know him? Nobody is saying that. You know, last one I'll get to is looks of awkwardness, condemnation, pity, or all. That means your life is unnatural. Therefore, you should be condemned. If you give like a look of awkwardness, like if I see a drag queen story hour and I look awkward at that, because who wouldn't look awkward at that? Jim, that's all I got on this. These are examples. This is microaggressions. This is in a policy at a school in Hamilton County, Indiana, guys.
As an adult, looking at some of those things will be hard to understand. Can you imagine kids trying to figure that out?
They'd be like, what are you talking
about? Honestly, to me, it's telling a kid, honestly, just don't talk to anybody. It's safer just not to say anything.
You're better off being socially just by yourself in a corner, locked away somewhere without talking or interacting with any humans anywhere, which is pretty much what they want anyways.
Sounds like it.
That's pretty much what they want anyways. But Jim, I thought that was interesting. Guys, I think that's it for today. Remember, Jim, unless you got something you got to add real quick or anything, do you? This show will be on Rumble next episode, which will be Thursday. We'll be back on YouTube with all of our previous 4 episodes as well. But remember, follow us on Rumble. Please follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or anywhere you hear podcasts. Doesn't matter. Join our Facebook group. I don't, invite when you get on there, you can interact. You can ask us questions. You can do anything. You can invite anybody you want to join if you think they'd like this content. That'd be great. Remember to review us too as well on the podcast. That is the 5-star reviews really do help. Follow our TikTok page while that is still up. I've had about 3 or 4 videos removed for violating community standards, Jim, because I was hurting some people's feelings. Yeah, it's like they got a little touchy-feely with some people.
I could actually cut your half of the screen of the show because you've hurt my feelings.
I can't.
Okay, folks, be prepared for the Jim hour. Because Dale's going to get cut.
Jim's getting woke. Let's see what'll happen to his viewership. Folks, see what'll happen. Jim, do you really have anything else to say?
Other than we are really trying to push this. So all of our listeners, let's push it. We'll do it. We'll do a little TikTok thing, but we are not kidding when we tell you August is going to be Heterosexual Pride Month.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For anybody who heterophobia, we don't tolerate it. It's not right.
We don't tolerate
for you guys to be scared of heterosexual people is absolutely horrendous.
Correct.
So now everybody's invited to our month. We're not going to stand out. Anybody who wants to respect heterosexual, you're more than welcome to join us.
Correct. Yeah, please. And remember that if you have a corporation out there, if anybody business you go to in August, and we'll keep bringing it up throughout the month and all that of July. So we
now that we figured out
if they're not. if they're not flying like a hetero pride flag, then we must report them.
And I'm gonna be honest
we must
with you.
boycott and report them.
We're gonna file and we're gonna get this done before August, but we're gonna do not for profit. Yep. So businesses, please donate millions and millions of dollars. I need a hot tub. I want to put a pool in my backyard.
Get that for a few.
I want to get
well value.
Why would I pay for it when I could be a not for profit and get it? Come on,
Jim. That's illegal.
Apparently not
illegal. Can't we get? We can get
no because if we donate to Democrats, we're fine.
Yeah,
we can do whatever the hell we want.
We can.
And
do
if you don't buy what I'm saying, look it up.
Research
it because I'm not going to cause any more problems that I already have. But
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, but August
can't
wait. August happens to be my significant others. I think that's what we have to call them now, right?
I'm not sure. Let me look at the microaggression list.
Is that wrong?
Nope.
Can't say it.
No,
Crap.
you can't call. You can't
say
you
wife.
Can't call
because that's gender identifying.
You can't call her
because that's gender identifying.
You got to call him, her, she, they, what?
The person that bosses me around.
And I'm going to get in trouble with this.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Can you kind of take that out?
Edit that? I absolutely
But I don't know what
not.
to say now. I mean, because of that questionnaire, I can't call her my wife. That's
the there's a being that you are married to.
Yeah, okay.
That's all.
Well,
the being that you are married to.
I think being could be safe. Yeah. But you can't call her. You can't call him wife anymore. Can't call him she.
You cannot.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. What's your point though? Something about August?
Oh yeah.
That you're married
Can't wait because that's her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Her birthday's in August.
I have a daughter who I'm not allowed to call that.
Nope.
No. She's clearly
I'm allowed
a child, but the other people won't let me to.
A child.
Yeah, I have a child with a birthday in August. That's right. So, anyways, folks, we've rambled on too long. Obviously.
Never.
Thank you again for your support and the viewership and the listenership. It really is important to us.
And if you want to know what the hetero flag is, look right behind Dale to the right.
It's right there. That's it. That's it.
We're not making one. There's only one there.
Didn't have to reinvent it. That's the only one that matters, right? It's the only one that matters. Anyways, yeah. And besides, so all the bad news that Jim and I give you every show, this is still the greatest country on the face of the earth. And it's still the greatest country for opportunity and growth. Despite their efforts, folks, to destroy this country. And by efforts, I mean the liberals, those people.
We're fighting back.
We will prevail because we will prevail.
And we don't do it violently.
We will keep fighting. We don't, oddly enough.
We do it at the polls.
We do not. Yep.
And we do it.
Yep. We do it at the
stop
polls
buying product.
peacefully. And we stop buying product and we show them. That's right. If they want to go woke, they go broke. We know how to do it. We've done it and we continue to do it. So, folks, thank you again. Remember, Rumble, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere. Facebook page, 2 Guys, 1 Coup. You don't know how to spell it. Look behind me. And TikTok. Follow us on there while you can. Jim, great show. Thank you for your contribution again.
God bless America.
Folks, we'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.
See you, Jim. Bye.